and welcome back to Tunnel TV, your favourite talk show interviewing historical figures from the past. I'm your host, Lola Shaw, and I'm here to take you on an educational journey through our past, meeting colourful characters from every decade. Tonight, we have a very special episode for you, travelling all the way back to 48 BC. But first, let's have a look at today's Egyptian news.
Hello, this is Oscar. Welcome to Tunnel TV. Thank you, Lola. Today we are travelling back over 2,000 years to the year 48 BC. I'm going to take you back to all the events of the year with all the intriguing drama and intriguing information you might not already know. The year 48 BC is proven eventful across the Roman Republic and neighbouring regions with political. Hello, this is Oscar. Welcome to Tunnel TV. Thank you, Lola. Today we are travelling back over 2,000 years to the year 48 BC. I'm going to take you back to all the events of the year with all the intriguing drama and intriguing information you might not already know. The year 48 BC is proven eventful across the Roman Republic and neighbouring regions with political, military, economic and social development shaping life of the whole world, but most especially the Mediterranean world. But not always good as civil war continues. Now, along with the topic, the civil conflict between rival Roman leaders has continued to strain the Republic's institutions. While Julius Caesar's victory over Pompey in Greece has drawn much attention, the broader impact has been felt in Rome itself. Senate meetings have been irregular, many magistrates are absent, and normal governance has been disrupted as uncertainty over leadership persists. Now onto the money side of things. Merchants and citizens alike report rising prices in several major cities. Ongoing military campaigns and instability at sea have slowed trade, particularly grain shipments from Egypt and North Africa. Urban populations, especially in Rome, remain dependent on these supplies, prompting officials to closely monitor reserves and distribution. Now, as we discuss brother and sister, independent of Roman politics, Egypt continues to experience internal unrest. The dispute between the royal siblings Ptolemy and Cleopatra has divided the court and weakened central authority. This instability has raised concerns among the neighbouring states that rely on Egypt's agricultural imports and trade connections. Even as tension rises, all seems calm in Roman towns. Even as tensions rise, all seems calm in Roman towns. In many Roman provinces, daily life continues despite a fence at the centre of power. Local governors manage tax collection, repairs, and legal disputes, though some regions report delays due to reduced oversight from Rome. Veterans returning from earlier campaigns are settling in provincial towns, bringing both economic activity and occasional tensions with local populations. Now on to more happy news. Religious festivals and public games have continued in Rome and other cities, offering citizens a sense of continuity amid political uncertainty. Temples remain active, and priests have reported increased public participation in rituals seeking divine favour during troubled times. And that's all we have on the news of 48 BC. Thank you for listening. Now back to the
Interesting report, Oscar. And now, to take a trip back in time, we introduce a quick National Geographic documentary on more about ancient Egypt and the cultures that were withheld.
Hello, this is Oscar. Welcome to Tunnel TV. Thank you, Lola. Today we are traveling back over 2,000.
The ancient Egyptian civilization lasted for over 3,000 years and became one of the most powerful and iconic civilizations in history. At its height, ancient Egypt's empire stretched as far north as modern-day Syria and as far south as today's Sudan. But long before it was an empire, ancient Egypt was a series of small, independent city-states that bloomed along North Africa's Nile River. The city-states were divided into two regions and named according to the flow of the Nile: Upper Egypt in the south, which was upstream, and Lower Egypt in the north, which was downstream. By about 3100 BC, the two halves united, thereby creating one Egyptian state that lasted for millennia. The reign of this civilization can be divided into three major periods of prosperity, called the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms, and two periods of instability in between, called the First and Second Intermediate Periods. Guiding the Egyptian people was a succession of about 300 rulers, often referred to as pharaohs. Pharaoh, which means great house in Egyptian, was never the ruler's formal title. It only became synonymous with the ruling individual in modern times, thanks to its use in the Hebrew Bible. These rulers, who were not always men, nor Egyptian, were considered protectors of the people and served as divine liaisons between humanity and the hundreds of gods they worshipped. After the rulers passed away, ancient Egyptians believed they then became gods. To prepare their journey into the afterlife, the rulers constructed elaborate tombs, including the Great Pyramids at Giza and underground mausoleums in the Valley of the Kings. Rulers filled their tombs with all the items they could need in the afterlife, including gold, jewelry, food, drink, and even pets. Preparing for this journey to the gods also involved mummifying one's body. The deceased's corpse was embalmed, wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen, and placed inside the tomb so the body could be reanimated in the afterlife. To this day, structures like the Great Pyramids are a testament to the role of religion in ancient Egyptians' lives. But they also represent the innovative and cultural might of the Egyptian people. Innovations in mathematics and written language in particular propelled their civilization to success. Math, specifically measurement mathematics, helped Egyptians understand and harness their world with numbers like no other civilization had before. They developed a new form of measurement called the cubit. It was used to design massive structures, such as the Great Pyramid, with remarkable geometrical precision. The Egyptians also measured time. By combining mathematics with astronomy, they established a 24-hour division to the day and created a solar calendar, which was the first dating system in history to feature 365 days in one year. Lastly, Egyptians developed methods to measure and survey land around the Nile River. These civil engineering feats made way for the construction of dams, canals, and irrigation systems that helped farming and agriculture to flourish in the Nile Valley. In addition to mathematical concepts, the ancient Egyptians also created written languages to describe the world around them. The oldest and probably most well-known of these is hieroglyphic writing. This system was developed around 3150 BC during the Old Kingdom and has over 700 pictorial characters. It was used to inscribe monuments and pottery and predominantly served a decorative or ceremonial purpose. Soon after, another ancient form of writing, called hieratic, developed out of the hieroglyphic system. It was a form of cursive that was written in ink and served a more functional purpose. Unlike its more formal predecessor, hieratic was written on another ancient Egyptian innovation, papyrus. Papyrus was a type of paper derived from the papyrus plant, which grew plentifully along the Nile River. This medium gave the ancient Egyptians a new avenue of communication and record-keeping that allowed their civilization's administrative skill to grow and their culture to spread for thousands of years. As with all great empires,
more than 2,000 years ago, in a world ruled by empires and ambition, one woman rose to power and
the ancient Egyptian civilization lasted for over 3,000 years and became one of the most powerful and iconic.
What speak? Hi, everyone. Wait. Tonight's key guest holds a strong reputation of being a dominant figure in Egypt's political landscape. She is a woman who doesn't need a man to have power and control. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cleopatra to the stage. Wait, are we live?
Yes, we're live.
What? The interview. How has it been the first female pharaoh of Egypt?
It's both an honour and a challenge. I must prove every day that I'm capable of ruling wisely, because being a woman, it often means that I'm doubted, but it also strengthens my determination to prove everyone wrong and to also lead well.
What are your plans for the future of Egypt?
My goal is to keep Egypt strong, independent and prosperous. I also want to protect its economy, culture and position in the world so it can endure for many generations.
Do you feel any pressure since your brother's trying to take over?
Pressure is unavoidable in ruling, especially when power is contested. However, I focus on stability and doing what is best for Egypt rather than allowing fear to guide my actions, so I definitely wouldn't say that pressure is there.
What is your relationship like with Julius Caesar?
Our relationship is built on mutual respect and political cooperation. He's a very powerful leader, and understanding one another has been important in navigating difficult circumstances, so I definitely say our relationship is very strong and we're building on it every day.
Has your relationship with the Roman leaders influenced your reign?
Yeah, Rome is a dominant force and interactions with its leaders have affected political decisions. These relationships required careful through to protect Egypt's interests.
How did you and Julius Caesar meet?
Well, we met during a time of great political tension. I saw an opportunity to present my case directly and ensure that my voice was heard in matters that would affect Egypt.
Is there any intent behind getting with him?
As a ruler, every major decision carries political weight. My actions were guided by the need to secure Egypt's future and stability.
Do you believe there's any qualities to make a strong leader?
Yeah, there definitely is. You've got to have intelligence, and also the ability to listen is very essential. A strong leader, they must balance strength with wisdom and understand the people that they rule.
Is there a certain way you want the people of Egypt to remember you?
I definitely want to be remembered as a ruler who protected Egypt's identity and strength, and who also ruled with intelligence and purpose during the very difficult times and also the good times as well.
And do you ever wish you could live a normal life instead of the life you've got now?
There are times where I definitely wish I could, but ruling Egypt is now my responsibility. Like, I've got to put everything into that to become the best leader, and I accept the sacrifices that come with the crown because at the end of the day it's all going to be worth it.
Why do you think you were chosen to be the pharaoh?
I'd say I was chosen. I'm a very strong person. Like, I know how to lead. Like, I can be a very respectful, strong leader, and I know how to do it, if that kind of makes sense.
Do you think you're the best person?
I definitely think I'm the best person. There's definitely going to be people that disagree with that, but I definitely do think I am one of the best people.
How did you prepare yourself to rule Egypt at such a young age?
To prepare myself, I had to study languages, history, politics, and philosophy. Education prepared me to understand both my own people and also foreign powers.
Do you think education's the reason you are where you are today?
I definitely think it's had a big impact. Without my education, I wouldn't know as much as I know now. I wouldn't be as educated. So it's definitely been a big part of that's what got me here, because obviously I wouldn't be the person I am now without the education.
Would you encourage the younger generation to stay in education?
100%, yeah. It gets you much further in life. It teaches you all these things that you won't know, and it definitely should still be taught and attended to.
And what is the hardest decision you've had to make as the ruler?
The hardest decision I had to make was definitely choosing between personal feelings and the needs of the kingdom has been the most difficult, because in my eyes Egypt must also come first, as I've put my all into it, so that's my main priority at this point.
Yeah. And how do you respond from the threats from people such as Julius Caesar?
I respond with strategy rather than force alone. Understanding intentions and negotiating wisely can be more powerful than confronting. It also shows that I'm very strong and nothing can stop me from doing what I'm doing.
How do you feel about being the first female pharaoh?
It feels amazing, like knowing that I am the first female to do it. It makes me feel more powerful and more stronger because I'm the first female to do it. Like, it definitely does feel amazing.
And how do you think history will judge your reign?
History may debate my choices, but I hope it recognises that ruled with intelligence, resilience and devotion to Egypt during a dangerous and changing time.
Are there any changes you'd like to see to Egypt?
I wouldn't say I've got many right now, but I definitely just want to keep it a very strong country. Like, there isn't really much I've got at the moment.
And I know you're very fashionable, so is there any fashion trends you'd like to see in Egypt?
I definitely love to see all the gold, big jewellery. That's definitely one of my favourite fashion trends that I've seen. I love the white that goes with it, just all the bling and the white. It just goes very well together and it's very popping.
People want to know, would you ever make a rule for certain fashion?
A rule? I don't think I'd make a rule on certain fashion. I think I'd make a rule on fashion that shouldn't be worn, as there's some things that just don't seem very appealing to me and that I definitely wouldn't want to be seeing.
And do you find it hard with your brother?
Hard. It was definitely hard at first because I got a bit nervous at first knowing that he was trying to bring me down. But I think as time has gone on, I've built my strength up. I've become more confident, strong. I know what to do now, and I know that there's nothing that he can do to break that from me.
So thank you so much for your time. Now, I don't know about you, but I sure am curious to hear more about her and her time as pharaoh. And so I'll introduce you to a little bit about her and her past.
More than 2,000 years ago, in a world ruled by empires and ambition, one woman rose to power and refused to be forgotten. Her name was Cleopatra, the last active ruler of ancient Egypt, and one of the most powerful women of the ancient world. Cleopatra VII was born in 69 BCE into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek family that had ruled Egypt since the time of Alexander the Great. Cleopatra was different from those who came before her. She learned the Egyptian language, embraced local traditions, and presented herself not just as a queen, but as a living symbol of Egypt itself. When Cleopatra became queen, Egypt was under threat, not just from internal conflict, but from the growing power of ancient Rome. Rome was expanding rapidly, controlling much of the Mediterranean world. Survival depended not only on strength, but on strategy, and Cleopatra was a master strategist. One of her most important alliances was with Julius Caesar, one of Rome's most influential leaders. At the time, Cleopatra was locked in a power struggle with her brother, who was also a co-ruler. With Egypt unstable, Caesar entered Alexandria. According to ancient sources, Cleopatra arranged a bold meeting, secretly gaining access to Caesar to plead her case. Whether legend or fact, what followed changed history. Cleopatra and Julius Caesar formed both a political and personal alliance. With Caesar's support, Cleopatra secured her throne. In return, Egypt became a powerful ally to Rome, providing wealth, grain, and stability. Cleopatra later travelled to Rome, where she was both admired and feared. She was intelligent, multilingual, and politically sharp, qualities that challenged Roman ideas about power and leadership, especially when held by a woman. After Julius Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, Cleopatra faced another turning point. Rome descended into chaos, and once again, Cleopatra acted to protect Egypt's future. This time, she aligned herself with Mark Antony, one of Rome's leading figures. Together, they attempted to build a powerful Eastern alliance that could rival Rome itself, but Rome would not be ruled from abroad. Their defeat by Octavian, who would later become Emperor Augustus, marked the end of Cleopatra's reign and the fall of ancient Egypt. Egypt became a Roman province, and Rome's power reached its peak. But Cleopatra's story does not end there. She has often been remembered for her romances, but history shows she was far more than that. Cleopatra was a skilled ruler, a diplomat, and a leader who stood against one of the greatest empires the world has ever known. Cleopatra did not simply survive history, she shaped it.
A part of Cleopatra's successes were her famous alliances. So I introduce you to Julius Caesar. Welcome, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
So I've got a few questions for you. How is your relationship going with Cleopatra, and do you truly love her?
I think our relationship at the moment is a very strong bond. We stand together. I don't see us separating in the future at all. And I do truly love her. I truly love Cleopatra. She risked everything by having herself smuggled in through a carpet. And that alone, I think, shows her courage and commitment towards me.
And how are you coping with having a child during such an intense time of constant fighting?
Well, it is quite a struggle to raise a child while fighting half the known world, obviously. But Cleopatra remains at home with our child, which makes it difficult to spend time together, obviously. But my duty is to protect them. I'm the father, I have to protect my children. But defending Rome and securing Egypt is also securing their future.
And as you just mentioned, Cleopatra, when you first met, came wrapped in a carpet. How did you react to that?
Oh, I was completely baffled. I was so shocked. At first I thought it might have been some sort of assassination attempt. It happened plenty of times to me in the past. But once I heard her speak and I understood her intentions, I was captivated. I couldn't get her out of my mind. But looking back, the situation was so unexpected that I couldn't help but laugh about it after.
And how do you plan on improving Rome and Egypt following this new relationship?
Well, now with my newfound support from Egypt, Rome's position, especially on the map, is stronger than it ever has been. Together, we can improve defences, we can strengthen armies, and expand our influence all across the world. And it's overall a good alliance to have.
Do you think she's helping you by being by your side?
Oh, definitely. I don't know how far I would have been able to make it if she hadn't been by my side this entire time with me.
And if Cleopatra hadn't shown that level of dedication, would you still have pursued a relationship with her?
I think that dedication is just one of her redeeming factors. I mean, she's intelligent, she's powerful, and she's impressive in her own right. It's not just the one thing that caught my eye. Even if she just sent a single messenger, I think I would have accepted her proposal and continued my life with her.
Now, Would you pick power or legacy? What matters to you more?
As good as they both are, I think to me personally, legacy matters the most. Power can be taken away, but legacy lives on after death. Like, something I've done in the past is not going to change all of a sudden, but my power can be taken, and I want to be remembered as someone who changed Rome for the better.
And was religion a big reason why you wanted to rule Rome?
Religion is incredibly important in the Roman society, but my ambition came from leadership and vision and what I wanted, me personally, what I wanted, not just faith. Because I believe I can bring order and strength where others cannot, where others aren't qualified to do so.
And I know there's some haters out there, so what would you say to the people who are opposed to you being the leader? Opposition
in Rome, it's inevitable really. There's nothing I can do against that. But I would tell them to judge me by my actions, you know, my victories, my reforms, the stability I've brought to Rome, and then compare that to someone else who may not be suitable.
And is your relationship with Cleopatra based on political power or true love?
Well, it began with politics, obviously coming from different backgrounds, but it has grown into a sort of mutual respect and a mutual trust. Politics may have brought us together, but it's not the only reason we remain united.
And where do you see yourself and your empire in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I see Rome more unified, expanded, with secure borders, and I think the influence is just going to grow ever greater, and there's nothing that can get in the way of the influence growing, because this is the biggest empire in the world currently, and it can only go up from here.
And so building on to that, where do you think you'd see you and Cleopatra in 5 years?
Well, the best case scenario is a continued alliance between Rome and Egypt. We work together, we maintain a stable ground, and maintain peace and strength within both the regions.
And how would you equally share the power if you co-ruled? Would you do that equally, or?
I think Rome and Egypt should remain separate powers, but the major decisions that affect both of us together, they will be made with both of our support and both of our ambitions in view to ensure a balance and a cooperation between the nations for the future.
Have you enjoyed having all the power?
It's been demanding. It's been very demanding and a very dangerous job, but this is who I am. This is the most rewarding feeling I can possibly ask for. Leadership is not meant to be easy. If it was too easy, then I wouldn't feel the satisfaction I do. It's meant to be meaningful, and I think I've achieved that well.
And how would you feel if your territory got invaded?
If my territory got invaded, I think whoever's doing it is a fool. Like, this is not something you do to me, but I'd respond with discipline, with strategy and strong legions. Like, we have the largest army, we have the best trained soldiers. It would be foolish. It would just not make any sense. And so do you feel that would be an easy win? Absolutely. It would be too easy. It'd just be like a cakewalk for me. There's no one, it's no one's best interest to attack me. And why did you say yes to coming on our show tonight? Because history is shaped by the people who make it. If I want my story to be heard across nations for as long as I can remember, and after my death, I have to be the one to say it, because nobody knows my legacy better than I do. So thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Thank you. And that concludes our episode of Time Tunnel TV. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. I hope you've enjoyed and learnt something new today. See you next time. Yeah, same. Mouth on. I feel like I'm blazed. Yeah, you probably will.